Oh, hey.
Whoa!
Hey.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Hey.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. I worked in Washington, D.C. on Capitol Hill and with political fundraisers for a very, very long time, so let me tell you something unequivocally. All political fundraising is a scam. There are people taking massive cuts of the dollars that you donate into the system. There are people, you think you're giving $1 to Donald Trump, and like 90 cents of it is going to some scumbag who runs the email list or whatever, right? They broker these little deals, and it's the greasiest, dirtiest world ever. However, most of it is legal. This is somehow allowed, and it shouldn't be allowed, actually. There should be caps on these things. There should be rules about this kind of stuff. I mean, the grotesque fraud I've seen in Washington on like unwitting Republican donors makes me very, very angry. However, that aside, some of it is actually criminal. There's a group called ActBlue. You've probably heard of them. ActBlue is the Democrat fundraising juggernaut that is behaving in a incredibly shady way and is actually being criminally investigated in multiple states for stuff like this. Okay, this is like a good example. Carrie Alberti is a 79-year-old living in Richmond, Virginia suburbs. She's renting an apartment for less than $2,000 a month. This is clearly not a rich person. Yet she allegedly has 22,000 Democrat donations since 2019 for nearly $1 million. So in 500 days, she's donated $1 million, even though she lives in a rent-controlled apartment in Richmond, Virginia, in the suburbs. Yeah, I don't think so. This is fraud. Something that's happening here is fraud, right? This seems like identity theft, and because you don't check the actual, because you don't have any verification for the actual credit cards and no stopgaps, you're just able to steal someone's address, steal donor information, and then just donate to whoever you want an unlimited amount. Ghost donors are giving money to ActBlue, and they're using the identities of the elderly to do it. Can somebody explain how a 79-year-old who lives in a cheap apartment donated 22,000 times, almost $1 million, to Democrats in less than 2 years? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. It gets worse. Kamala Harris's failed campaign fund is still charging donors recurring fees. This happened after Kamala Harris's blowout loss. Kamala Harris stunningly ended her 2024 presidential campaign, leaving Democrats $20 million in debt. But her defeated campaign joint fundraising committee is still charging supporters recurring donations that they were set to stop, according to a new report from Politico. Many feel seeing the continued charge on their credit card adds salt to the wound of an already stinging loss. The Harris Victory Fund did not seek donors' explicit approval to keep withdrawing cash after the 2024 election. Rather, an email claims they would continue seeing a charge until you contact us to stop it. Jeez, man. This is super shady and a grift, says one of Mitt Romney's staffers. So that's how low they've gone. But they can go lower, ladies and gentlemen. Can always go lower. Gavin Newsom is slammed for asking well-wishers to send LA fire victims donation via his super PAC, which, you guessed it, runs on ActBlue, and ActBlue gets a big fat cut. California Governor Gavin Newsom has been slammed for directing well-wishers to make fire donations to his Democrat fundraising site. Newsom shared a link to California Fire Facts, a website created by his campaign committee, claiming it would combat misinformation. He's been steering donations meant for a California wildfire victim through the super PAC. So he is fundraising off of the death of 25 of his state's residents and the destruction of billions and billions and billions of dollars of the state's infrastructure. The fires are still burning Los Angeles to the ground, yet he is fundraising, and ActBlue is taking a big, fat cut of it. Very interesting here. Gavin Newsom directing people to donate to links on ActBlue. He is using the devastating fires to raise money for Democrats. He's straight up evil and scum. There you go. Here's the actual link itself. And ActBlue, of course, gets a big fat cut of all of this. Elizabeth Warren got a massive community note here. To help support communities around LA being devastated by wildfires, can you split a donation between the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation and the United Way of Greater Los Angeles? Your donation will go directly to the organizers. That's not a link to the charity. It's a link to the Democrat fundraising platform. They take 4% of all transactions. See what I'm saying? Like, this is how this all works. Take this big, fat piece of every transaction. Gavin Newsom, who should be, I don't know, trying to save everyone's lives and neighborhoods, has found time to go do a podcast in the middle of a trailer called Pod Save America. Irrelevant morons, dumbasses that do this stupid podcast. If you want to help those impacted by California wildfires, please vote here. ActBlue. There you go. Support Crooked Ideas Disaster Relief Fund. Okay? I mean, it sounds malevolent, actually. So, yeah. This said ActBlue Charities. Charitable donations made through this form, received and processed by ActBlue. And their terms of service say that they'll take a massive chunk of all of that. Instead of raising money for fire victims, he's laundering it through ActBlue. Everyone is outraged by this scammy effort directing Los Angeles fire relief donations through Democrat donation machine ActBlue, which takes 4 cents per transaction. The first lifted recipient was Julian Castro's Democrat activist group. Well. Would you look at that? Gavin Newsom is a scumbag. Now he's got a big fat community note on this. Uh-oh. ActBlue. There you go. ActBlue. So they're literally trying to make money off of the death of Democrats in California and their own mismanagement. That, of course, leaves no water in the fire hydrants. No water in your fire hydrants. No police. No cops. No firemen. No reservoir. No water in the reservoir. Your mayor is in Africa. Your governor is in a trailer doing a podcast. And the donation that's supposed to go to you is being funneled through Democrat money laundering operation ActBlue. Using ActBlue for donations for fire victims so they can use the list for future Dem campaign is diabolical. You can't hate these people enough. Shame on everybody who's involved in this podcast and this episode. Tricking people into donating to ActBlue from the middle of a tragedy beneath any respective human being. You guys, though, this is just right on brand. That's right. Boy, they got nuked here. They got ratioed here like crazy. Elizabeth Warren tried to fundraise off the wildfire and got wrecked by a community note. Turns out that donations go through ActBlue, skim fees, and grab your data. True. There's Gavin Newsom. I'm not interested in politicizing a natural disaster. You went on Pod Save America, and both of you direct people to donate via a Democrat fundraising platform. So yes, that is actually politicizing it, and you're also making a profit off of it. Using ActBlue to collect donor information in a crisis is like one of the most morally repulsive things I've ever seen. Never let this wretch pretend to be anything other than a classless, partisan, opportunist parasite. Democrats are so defensive when people object to their ActBlue grift. They always got away with it before. The media is now disinterested, socialists censored. Now we can speak up. Yeah, they're losing their minds on this. And they're getting community noted. They're asking people to donate via a Democrat Party fundraising apparatus. Oof. Obama staffer bro podcasters using the fires to fundraise for ActBlue is really the cherry on top of this whole saga of Democrat corruption and incompetence. Here we go. Here's the podcast bro. His name's John Favs. F you. We don't bother people who donate through our relief funds. People on VSA email lists are there because they opt in or sign in. The only reason we organize relief funds is so people don't have to go through multiple sites to give. We can't vet all the local orgs ahead of time, he says. Well, now he's getting destroyed, like absolutely ratioed into the sun on this. When asked why they're routing donations through their C4 and ActBlue, which ensures they can collect all the emails and personal info, and ActBlue gets service fee, instead of providing a direct links to the orgs or providing relief, they just say it's to save the donors time. Our expectations were low, but holy F, ladies and gentlemen. The fraud of ActBlue, laid bare by a great dude named Carl Higbie, who is a broadcaster at Newsmax. And he went through the FEC data for ActBlue, and he broke it all down. And I thought it was quite interesting. Here's the first few minutes. Seems shady as hell to me. Okay? It's one of the first things that should be investigated immediately by Republicans. Go.
The measure in politics, unfortunately, is how much money have you raised. Ironically, it's also the easiest thing to track. So we did. And holy rusted metal, Batman, did a bunch of people find a bunch of stuff that appears to not add up on where and how that money is getting into Democrat coffers. Thanks to a group called Election Watch, who compiled millions, and when I say millions, it's millions of data points from the Federal Election Commission, the FEC website. We were able to find out that in the past few years, over $200 million of political donations have been funneled through the Democrats' fundraising platform called ActBlue, from a fairly small circle of people who are almost exclusively over the age of 65, retired, very liberal, lower to middle income class, and from our research, it appears that these people, most of them, don't even know these donations are being made in their name. It's not their money. They call these people Smurfs or money mules, people who have knowingly donated to Democrats via ActBlue once before, but then their identity is cloned or stolen and used to make multiple donations from an unknown source, but still in their name. Again, this is all publicly available information from state and federal websites that are very easy to verify should you want to look them up. Take this woman from Louisiana. She's a 74-year-old woman, worked a middle-income job most of her life, yet according to FEC data, and we're withholding their names, in the last 7 years has made $573,447 in donations to Democrats. And here's where it gets really weird. She did it in over 1,400 individual transactions, averaging $76 per donation. And it doesn't seem to come from this person's bank account. They would have seen that volume of money, and judging by our available research, it doesn't appear she has these type of assets. Nothing against her. On certain days, like October 16th in 2018, she, or someone using her identity, according to the FEC, made 71 individual transactions totaling $3,145. Folks, that would mean she would have to have made more than 5 donations an hour if she were to sleep for 8 hours a night. But what's even crazier is when you zoom out and look at all the donations over 7 years for this woman, or at least under her name, it's just not natural human behavior to donate at this frequency. No, the normal people with this type of liquid cash make a few large donations and then they move on. But here's another one that's even weirder. And this person is from California. She's a 72-year-old woman who doesn't appear to be the, let's just say, typical person to donate this much money. According to the same FEC data, again, folks, publicly available, she made 52,501 individual donations totaling $884,152, almost $1 million over 700 days. Sure. This says that every day since 2017, and you can see the data right there, she has made at least one donation ranging from $10 to $100 a day. And you can see the significant jump in June on one day, making 1,080 donations totaling $20,879. In one day! That's 68 donations per hour, more than one per minute, if it's true. Folks, look, I have donated to state and federal campaigns in the past, and it takes a few minutes to add all your information and then put it into the system. This is logistically not possible to have that volume. Here's another one. A 75-year-old woman from Louisiana. She donated $127,375 in 5,670 individual transactions in 358 days. That's less than a year. Nobody does this.